Alright, the first thing that we need to do before preparing for the noodles and stuff, we have to prepare the water and put it in the pan or a casserole, and then put some salt to enhance the flavor of the noodle. Then let the water boil, and when it's already briskly boiling, start putting the noodles. And for this, I use the fettuccine noodles. Okay. I use 350 grams of fettuccine noodles in this cooking, which is only the right amount to be cooked for the water. And then you have to make sure that you have to stir it and make sure that all the noodles are soaked in, and you have to stir it properly to avoid burnt noodles. Make sure that they are entwined all together, and the water is above the noodles to make sure that everything is soaked and immersed properly or submersed properly. Alright, so you have to stir the noodles occasionally just to make sure that the noodles are not sticking together and there's no burnt noodles on the bottom of the pan. And make sure to don't cover the pan or the casserole. That is for better cooking of the noodles. And once the timer is up, you have to drain the noodles and of course wash them thoroughly with cold water and drain them perfectly. Because if you wash the noodle with the cold water, it will stop the cooking process. Therefore, you will not have a soggy noodles, or what we call this, an overcooked noodles. But it's up to you if you want to have a tender noodles or what we call al dente. Okay. Okay, now on a separate pan, we have to cook the prepared bacons. Of course, I put it without oil or something because we have to separate the oil from the bacon itself. It will be drained, it will be separated from the bacon, thus, therefore, it will be less fatty. So you just have to wait until it is cooked, and once it's cooked, the fat coming from the bacon will be separated, and you have to throw the fat. You don't want to use it for your cooking. You can only retain a less amount of the oil, or the fat that comes from the bacon, that you can use for your cooking for the next process or for the next step. So just continue to stir and saute the bacon until it heats up, and finally the oil or the fat will separate from the bacon. Just continue to stir the bacon so that all the oil will be, or the fat will be separated from the bacon itself. And after that, you have to set aside the bacon and put them on a plate with the paper towel to drain the excess oil from them, and just put it aside for the next process. Alright, so I threw all the other oil and I only put less oil that will be used for this cooking, and then I put like the beef to be cooked. So I just stir it until it will turn like brown or cooked. So just continue stirring and separate from each other. You need to make sure that there's no lumps from the beef or the ground beef itself. Okay, and again, I'm just using the same fat or oil that comes from the bacon to make the flavor comes out from the beef and the meat itself. Alright, and now that the beef is cooked, I then added the garlic. So you just have to saute the garlic together with the beef and make sure that they turn perfectly blended together. Alright. Okay. And so after the garlic, you have to pour in the onions. the onions should be chopped in finely, so that they will blend in with the meat, which is the ground beef, and of course with the other ingredients that we use for cooking in our recipe. Alrighty. So you just have to constantly saute them or stir them so that they will be cooked. I use like the high flame for this one so that it will be cooked as fast as I can. Alright, just continue stirring them until it turns to golden brown together and it's ready for the next process. Okay, so after this thing, you have to put in the soup stock, which is the beef stock, and you have to make sure that it will boil. So continuously stir them so that the mixture of the soup stock will be incorporated together with the other ingredients and in the pan. So just stir it properly and continuously until the water has evaporated, not completely, but a little bit of it will only remain on the pan that is ready for the next usage. So just continue stirring. Just continue stirring until it becomes more tender, or the meat becomes more tender and good enough for the next process. Okay. And so after the soup stock has has evaporated, but not almost completely, you can pour in the what do you call this, the mushrooms, the button mushrooms that you sliced properly and thinly, and then make sure to cook it properly. Let it boil and let it cook the mushrooms. Alright, so when the mushroom has already been cooked, slide in the 2 tablespoons of butter and let it melt. It will add more flavor to the sauce. Alright, so let it melt and stir it occasionally so that the butter will melt in together with the other ingredients and it will mix properly with the sauce. Alright, so afterwards I put in 2 cups of evaporated milk instead of using the whipped cream or the all-purpose cream. I use evaporated milk on my dish because for me, well, it's really accessible and well, I like it that way. So stir it constantly until it will turn to boiling point and make sure that the ingredients all together are mixed in properly to make it a homogeneous mixture. Then after that, I pour in 3 tablespoons of the Parmesan cheese, and then I put salt and pepper to taste, to season the flavor and to add up more flavor to the sauce. And of course you have to stir it occasionally to make sure that every ingredients are mixed in properly and they are blended well. Alright, so just pour in and then mix it until it's boiling. Then after that, I put 2 pieces of egg yolks and mix it together with the sauce. The purpose of the egg yolk is to thicken the mixture of the sauce, but you have to take note that before you put in the egg yolks, you have to make sure that you mixed it or you beat it properly to avoid the lumps. As you can see, there are lumps in there because I failed to mix it properly. I don't know why. Okay, so just mix it in properly. And then after that, after it turns out to boil, you can see that the mixture is already thickened up a bit. So just a little bit for a little more. And after that, you can now add the noodles, the fettuccine noodles that was set aside Okay, and then you have to mix it properly so that all the sauce and the ingredients will be mixed well together. So I use this to mix it properly and blended them properly so that all the ingredients and all the sauces will soak the noodles and make sure that the dish will look and taste delicious. So after that, after blending all the other ingredients, I put the what do you call this, the bacon that I set aside so that they will be mixing all together as well with the other ingredients. So for the consistency of the bacon, I don't like it to be really crispy because I don't like crispy things. So I just cook it according to my preference, and then I have to blend it well together with the other ingredients of the dish. Alright, so just continue to stir it and make sure they are all blended well perfectly like this one. And here you go, my finished product, my fettuccine carbonara. Enjoy!